Hi guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Pewa and I am the host for this channel. I just want to explain a little bit on why the handle of the channel actually changed. Somebody from church had actually asked me, they're like, I thought you were off YouTube, but I actually just changed the name, and I'm just going to explain in a little bit why I actually did that. So okay, when I started the channel, it was sort of going to be, about me and just, my life and whatnot. As you guys have seen, I have like a get to know me tag and whatnot. But I don't really want to focus or have the channel to be all about me. I know eventually it would be sort of like centered around me, but I would like to have people on the channel, people talk about, just things that we go through in life, different topics, and mostly talk about my faith and just share with you guys about my faith, why I believe what I believe, and how everything in my life revolves around that. And just, societal issues that we go through. So I don't want it to be about me. That is why you guys will never, let me not say never, but that is why so far you guys have not seen me vlogging, because it's not my thing. So most of it will really just be about sharing stories, sharing wisdom on certain things I've gone through or things that somebody else has gone through. That is why in a lot of the videos that I shot this year, I was with somebody, but she's not here now. Vanessa, like, I need somebody to record with. Like, it's so weird. Like, whenever I record with somebody, it's like the topic sort of flows. It's like you're not talking alone. And now it's just like I'm just talking to the camera, and it's sort of like kind of weird. But yes, the name of the channel is no longer Pewa Nakamwe, although I am the main host. I upload the content, I do the editing and whatnot. I invite the people who should be on the channel, but most of it really is not going to be solely about me. It's just going to be about us. Or I just want to share with you guys sort of like things that I've learned and how I believe we've sort of made it work. I would have loved to have my partner here with me and recorded with him, but because long distance relationship, he's not here to do that. And I would have also loved to sort of have like a Q&A with somebody, but like I said, yes, I'm alone today. The one thing, people would, it's always sort of a thing of, this guy likes me, but he lives so far away, or I like this girl, but she lives so far away. I don't think it will work because of the long distance. And I say to you now, if you are not willing to make it work, because relationships, whether short distance or long distance, are a lot of work. You need to make it work. Whatever, whenever, you need to put in the work. So if you are not willing to work, just don't get into anything at all, whether short or long. So the one thing about long distance relationships is that you're willing to make it work, and you have to be intentional about making it work. And that is where you also come in as children of God who want to glorify God in our relationships. That is where you come in also with the boundaries to say we don't do this or we don't do this. Not necessarily to sort of create like it makes it seem like you're in a jail or anything, but rather just to, in order for you to be able to honor God with your relationship, but He's the one who guides you in making it work as well. Besides you guys being intentional means it's you wanting to make it work. I know it's different when, say, you are living in the same town and then the guy suddenly goes away. That is a bit different, eh? But when you start off being in a relationship, and it has always been sort of like a long distance relationship, I guess it works better as opposed to having to learn how to be in a long distance relationship now. So I am going to talk from both perspectives, but more on the rather long distance one, because my partner before he moved, we used to live actually we both lived in the same town, but just for a short while really, and we were really friends. And that is one important aspect of all relationships: become friends first before you get under the covers. So become friends first. When you cultivate a friendship in a relationship, it really makes everything else work. And when I say cultivating a relationship, I mean cultivating a friendship, I just feel like sometimes we sort of move too fast into the intimacy part of relationships. And I believe intimacy should just be cultivated in the context of marriage. Because then, especially when you're in a long distance relationship, when you sort of cultivate or you build your relationship around physical intimacy, it becomes an issue of when you miss that person, you don't really miss them. You miss what you do with them, or you miss what you guys do when you get together. Most of the times, it's not necessarily because you miss the person, you miss what they do. And I'm not saying this just to blabber things. I'm saying this because I haven't always been in a relationship that is godly or a relationship that glorifies God. I was in a relationship before that just, wasn't glorifying God. And sometimes when I say I miss my boyfriend, I miss spending time with him, it's not really him that I miss. I actually miss what we do, And so that is why it's important. That is why I believe it's important to cultivate a friendship before you get under the covers. I like that line. I really like it. It's not mine, but I'm just using it. When you are friends, really, you don't, and especially when you're not physically intimate with one another, you really just miss the person's company, the conversations, the jokes, the just spending quality time with them. So cultivate healthy friendships with your person, whether or not your relationship is long or short. On top of becoming friends, when you get into a relationship, you need to set boundaries. I'm not so sure if we did it on this channel or on Vanessa's channel, but you can check on, different kinds of boundaries that you can set up in your relationship when you are dating or courting, whatever you'd want to call it. So I will check on whose channel it is, and I'll leave the link in the description box below, and then you can just check that out. So after you create boundaries, within creating boundaries, you also indicate who visits who, when do we visit. I know that some long distance relationships would mean the man or the woman is thousands and thousands of kilometers away, maybe even in a different country. But I'm talking about just living in the same country, but you live in different towns. Like for me, my person and I will live, I think, about 400 kilometers apart from each other. So, we have decided especially in the beginning of our relationship, we have said that, okay, every 2 months or every month, I think it was, we used to do 2 visits per month. But that dynamic has actually changed now. I found out from my boo why it changed. We don't really do 2 visits per month anymore. It has become kind of random now. And also with visits, I love how my boyfriend has actually kept me in check in those areas, because there were times where I would miss him, and we're not going according to our schedule for visits. Right? And then I'd be like, I miss you and I really want to come visit. And it's like, but that is not what we had agreed on, though. So you have to wait for that time to come according to how we have agreed that this is when you come, or I am coming and then you can come. It's just like that. Who visits who, when. So ours was 2 visits per month, like basically every second weekend. I go, or maybe he comes. And another thing also is the fact that, when you're being intentional about something, you want to make it work. You don't want your relationship to be dull. You don't want your relationship to be boring, or you become so tired of one another. So here are some of the healthy habits that you can, or here are some of the things that you can do without compromising your relationship with the Lord. So you can have virtual dates. We usually have if you want to have a date, you call him up or call her up and tell him or her that, I want us to have a date on Friday at maybe 8 o'clock, and you have a phone call or maybe a video call. And in that, you just, catch up. I mean, you've already been talking throughout the week, but that Friday is sort of like really devoted, that 1 hour you just devoted to having like a date. I'm not saying now clean up and like put on makeup and dress up, but if you want to do that, I think that would be nice as well. But for the most part, really just be intentional about date night. We used to do like Fridays from 8 to 9 because we have a time out of 9 o'clock, so we don't talk, we don't chat or call past 9. So between 8 and 9, we usually have like a video call or just normal call, and it's just chatting, joking, making each other laugh. And even better, sometimes you can play games. There is an app that I want to recommend, House Party, but it's a new one though. So when our relationship first started, it wasn't there. So to play games like Hangman, games, just making it fun and making it work without having to make everything without being sexual about things, but rather just, on a friendship level. But this friendship is not just friendship, it's more than just, it's not just a plain friendship. It's somebody who's dear to your heart. It's your boo, your babe, your boyfriend, your baby, whatever, your sweetheart, your darling. That this is somebody who is a friend, but they are more than just a friend, without making it a sexual thing. So I believe that relationships can really work. If you are living in the same town, I think you should have the conversations of, babe, how are we going to navigate our relationship? What is going to change? How are we going to do things? And also, I feel like, we took that test of the 5 love languages, and figure out what is your love language. I think ours is quality time. So we love to spend quality time. And if you are in a long distance relationship, send gifts. If maybe your love language is gifts, once in a while, send gifts and, surprise the other person and really just make it work. And one important thing, and I do not want to forget this because I love it, and I believe this works in all areas of our lives and should work in all areas of our lives, whether it's friendship with our family members, whether it's friendship with like just friends and not romantically involved, whether it's family, business partners, colleagues, wherever. Communicate. Communication is key to everything. Communication really, it eradicates things like assumptions. If I don't tell my person where I am at a certain time or where I will be or what I'm doing, they would never know. And it shouldn't become a thing that makes you tired. It shouldn't be a tedious exercise. This is the one person that you love, that is so dear to your heart. So you want to know where they are, or you want to let them know where you are. You have to communicate about your whereabouts, about what you're doing. And it might seem like it's a lot of work, but I believe when love covers a lot of things, hey? But I believe when love is involved, it doesn't become like work anymore. You want to let your person know where you are or where you'll be. I'm like, babe, I'm leaving the office now, I'm going to grab lunch, or, babe, I just got home. Something. And I mean, your person needs to know where you are at all times. I mean, they're not there physically with you all the time, so you need to let them know where you are or what's happening with you, because they don't want to be surprised suddenly they're getting a call from somebody. Hey, I saw Pewa in Okahanja, and you're like, hey babe, last time I knew you were in Venduk, so like, oh, how, where, when? So communicate. Really be intentional about communication. If it's going to seem like it's such a tedious exercise for you and you just don't want to do it, just don't get into the relationship. You'd be wasting your time and you'd be wasting the other person's time as well. So yes, relationships, long distance relationships, they can work. but you need to make it work. Nobody can make it work for you, and both parties need to be willing to actually make it work, and not put a burden on the other person who sort of just has to be kind of like working alone, because one-sided relationships, whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship, it just does not work. I probably left out some things, and I don't want to make this long. If there are tips or that you might have on how to make long distance relationships work, please leave it in the comments below and have others read it. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe and do hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. And yeah, I don't know, I feel so weird talking alone. I hope in the next videos, like, I'll be joined by somebody again. Maybe Vanessa will be back. But yes, I thank you guys for always, if you are returning, thank you for always coming back. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And if this has spoken to you in some way, do leave a comment and do share it with whomever you'd love to share it with. I'll see you guys next week. Have a blessed week. Ciao.